Welcome once more, seekers of shadows, to abyss of horror, where darkness is not just a backdrop, it is the very fabric of the stories we weave. Tonight I invite you to consider the objects we cherish, those treasures we collect, imbued with histories we cannot fully grasp. Sometimes they whisper to us, faint promises, forbidden temptations. But beware, for not every whisper is benign. Tonight's tale, The Whispering Mask, peels back the veil on one such object, an antique both exquisite and accursed. What follows is not merely a story, but a warning to all who covet the mysterious and unknowable. The antique shop sat on the edge of a dying town, its windows clouded with dust and its doorbell rusted with age. Behind the counter was Augustus Fane, a man with a penchant for the macabre. His shop was a labyrinth of forgotten relics, tarnished candelabras, faded portraits, and shelves stacked with tomes bound in crumbling leather. Business was slow, and that suited Augustus just fine. His true passion lay in discovering treasures, not parting with them. One rainy afternoon, as thunder grumbled over the horizon, a peculiar package arrived. No return address, just his name scrawled in an unfamiliar hand. Augustus opened it with a mix of curiosity and dread, peeling away layers of brittle paper to reveal its contents. An ornate mask. It was unlike anything he had ever seen. Carved from ebony wood and polished to a haunting sheen, the mask seemed to shift under the dim light, its surface alive with undulating patterns. Its eyes were hollow, but somehow penetrating, and its lips, curved into a sly, knowing smile, seemed to mock the very act of observation. But it was the whispers that unnerved him most. The moment he touched the mask, they began. Soft, insistent murmurs at the edge of his consciousness. Promises of power, of freedom from the shackles of his mundane existence. Wear me, they urged, seductive and unrelenting. Augustus shook off the feeling, blaming fatigue and his own overactive imagination. He placed the mask in the back room, determined to sell it at the first opportunity. But the whispers didn't stop. They followed him through the shop, into his dreams, burrowing deeper with each passing day. One night, unable to resist any longer, Augustus succumbed. He locked the shop, drew the curtains, and stood before the mask. The whispers had grown louder, urgent now, a chorus of voices promising that everything he desired lay just beyond the veil. He raised the mask to his face. The moment it touched his skin, the world went black. When Augustus awoke, the mask was on the counter, its sly smile more pronounced than before. His hands were covered in dirt, and his muscles ached as though he had been running for hours. He couldn't recall a single thing from the night before, but the unease that coiled in his stomach was undeniable. Then came the news. The following morning, the town was abuzz with horror. A body had been found in the woods, its limbs twisted at unnatural angles, its face frozen in a scream of terror. The victim's identity was unrecognizable, the body ravaged beyond comprehension. Augustus felt the blood drain from his face as he listened to the whispers echoing faintly in his mind, mocking and triumphant. Days passed, and Augustus tried to rid himself of the mask. He locked it in a trunk, buried it in the basement, even considered burning it. But each attempt failed. The mask always returned to its place on the counter, pristine and waiting. The whispers grew darker, no longer promises, but threats. "Wear me again," they demanded, each word scraping against his sanity. The second time was worse. When the mask found his face again, the blackout was longer. The aftermath more grotesque. This time, 2 bodies were found, an elderly couple who had been traveling through town. Their car was discovered abandoned, its interior soaked in blood, though the bodies were found miles apart. Augustus woke to find his reflection in the mirror smeared with crimson handprints. He screamed until his voice broke. Desperation clawed at Augustus. He scoured his shop for clues, hoping to learn the mask's origin, to understand its curse. Buried beneath stacks of forgotten inventory, he found a note tucked in the box it had arrived in. The handwriting was jagged, almost frenzied. The mask does not choose lightly. It binds itself to those who carry darkness within. It reveals the truth of what lies beneath your facade. Do not resist. You cannot escape yourself. The words filled him with dread. The mask wasn't an external force. It was a mirror, amplifying the horrors already inside him. The whispers weren't foreign, they were his own darkest thoughts, given voice. The town grew restless as the killings continued, each more gruesome than the last. Rumors swirled of a curse, a demon prowling the outskirts, but no one suspected Augustus. He became a man consumed, his reflection a stranger. The mask seemed to mock him from its perch, its whispers a constant reminder that he was no longer in control. He tried to end it. He climbed the highest cliff in the woods, the mask clutched in his hands, and hurled it into the abyss. The relief was fleeting. By the time he returned home, it was there, waiting for him, its sly smile more sinister than ever. That night, he donned it willingly. The rampage that followed was unlike anything the town had ever seen. Augustus became a shadow, moving through the night with inhuman speed and ferocity. The mask's whispers were now a roar, drowning out all thought, guiding his every move. He tore through homes, extinguishing lives with surgical precision. By dawn, the town was silent, its streets painted red. When Augustus finally removed the mask, he stood alone in the ruins of what had once been his community. The whispers had ceased, replaced by a chilling emptiness. He looked down at the mask, its surface now slick with blood, and for the first time he understood. The mask hadn't corrupted him. It had revealed him. Now, the antique shop stands empty, its windows boarded up, its door forever locked. But the mask, it waits, patient and unyielding. It whispers to anyone who lingers too long near the threshold, luring them with promises of power and freedom. And if you listen closely, you might hear the faint echo of Augustus Fane's laughter, distorted and hollow, as he watches from the shadows of eternity. So, my dear viewers, next time you encounter an object that calls to you, a treasure that feels almost too perfect to be true, remember Augustus's fate. Some whispers are meant to be ignored, no matter how sweet their promises. If this tale of darkness has gripped your soul, do not let it end here. Like this story, subscribe to Abyss of Horror and share your thoughts below. Perhaps leave the word mask in the comments if you feel its gaze lingering. But beware, for even the act of writing may invite the whispers to find you.